Hello, my name is Cade. Welcome to the podcast. On today's episode, I would like to give my opinion on why comfort zones are killing your growth. So I have a quote here that I pulled. Now, it's not directly tied to one person. It goes as, "Discomfort is the currency of growth. Spend it wisely." I mean, there you go. So I want to give my opinion about why I believe people cling to routines, easy jobs, safe friendships, and habits. There are, I think, a lot of factors that go into it, whether you were raised that way, meaning maybe you saw your parents doing it. A lot of people like to throw out the term product of your environment, which I do think that is accurate. In a lot of cases, you are a product of your environment. So raised that way, it's a routine. You've seen how either your parents, your aunt, uncle, grandma, whoever raised you conducted their life, and that is kind of what you know. Yes, you have, I'm sure, friends and acquaintances and get to experience other older people in your upbringing. I do believe the main impact on your character and actions directly reflect I don't know if people in the household is the correct term or not. Somebody wants to make a guest appearance. Hello again, Katniss. I think another reason why people might cling is PTSD. They might have tried to expand or grow in various aspects of their life, and they might have failed, or maybe it just wasn't a good result, and they're kind of stuck thinking, well, this is what happened the first time, it's going to happen again. Now, I do think humans benefit from routines and habits because they provide a sense of predictability, definitely reduces decision fatigue, meaning they don't have to think. It's just kind of muscle memory. So it's like it's a habit, lower stress, improved cognitive function, leading to increased productivity and better health outcomes like improved sleep and energy levels. This is off Google, so you can fact check me. I just asked facts about people and routines. I think a lot of reasons why people cling to routines, easy jobs, safe friendships, and habits are having a yes man friend. What I mean by saying that is somebody who is constantly saying, yeah, that's good, or yeah, keep doing exactly this because you're doing. Even if it's not good, they'll still tell you yes. I am not a fan of yes man people. I don't believe that I have too many of those in my circle. They are out there, and I'm sure I do have acquaintances that are yes man and are scared to, I don't know if being honest is the right way to put it, but it's not a good thing to have a yes man in your circle. You definitely need somebody to tell you how it is all of the time. How it is, why they might not be able to tell you why it is, but if they can tell you how it is, then that's beneficial. That is super beneficial towards growth, because you know what either you need to work on or what could be improved. I have another point here of habit of looking at others. So constantly, I don't constantly seek the, okay, so my battery died and I'm so sorry about that. Got it going. I was kind of going off of why people could cling to routines, easy jobs, safe friendships, or habits. The last point that I was making was a habit of looking at others, habitually seeking the gratification of others, or constantly comparing their life to somebody else's life. Oh, you may be on a very similar path to someone, but your life is completely yours. You are one, you're unique, and you're perfect at how you are. Yes, I might compare myself here and there, but at the end of the day, I know who I am as a man, and don't need to compare myself. I don't know if I'm saying that right or not, but don't get in the habit of comparing your life to somebody else's. Their level of success and your level of success can be two completely different things, and that's perfectly fine. The biggest thing is growing and working on bettering yourself, however that may be. There are multiple roads that lead to the same destination. So just because you're taking a left when they're taking a right doesn't always mean it's a bad thing. Let's move on to struggle. Definitely want to talk about the struggle. Fear of failure, judgment, and change keeps people stuck. My opinion. Again, could be PTSD, scared to lose. Maybe whatever you were doing, you failed horribly and you were super embarrassed, and that fear of it happening again is keeping you stuck, stagnant, and in the same spot instead of trying maybe a different way to accomplish it. And that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. Now, the failure could either teach you, hey, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. Maybe you did succeed in whatever you were trying, but you found out it was not good. Or the failure taught you, hey, this is not the way to succeed. So let's try a different route. Let's try and do something completely different. Failure is not a bad thing. Failure is a opportunity to grow. And I can't stress that enough. Whether you hear this from me or whether somebody else tells you, failure is the opportunity to learn from your mistakes and improve. No matter what you are doing in life, there is always going to be failure, and learn from your mistakes. That's as simple as that. Now, have I repeated some of the same mistakes? Yes, I have. That doesn't make me any less of a man than I am. That doesn't make you any less of a man or a woman that you are. It's all about, if you get knocked down, are you going to get back up, or are you just going to lay on the ground, you know? Fear of the unknown is a big one. A lot of people are scared because of what could happen or what might happen, and might never did anything. If you know for certain a outcome is going to be negative, I mean, you're just kind of stuck playing your cards, you know? If you know, I'm using a poker reference, but if you glance over and you see pocket aces over here and you got a 2 and a 7 offsuit, I mean, you're playing with fire right there, you know? I always believe I'm working on my next tattoo. I'm going to get 2 cards face down the back of a bicycle card. Everybody wants to get a card with the face and maybe a suit on them, or numbers, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. I want to get the back of a card, 2 cards face down, because a solid point is you never know what hands you're going to get dealt. It's just a matter of how you play them. Have I won with 7-2 offsuit? Yes, I know there are witnesses to the account. I mean, I guess I'm going off on a little side story, but I was at the casino. I came with like $200 to play. This dude sitting right next to me was going all in maybe once every, 15 hands. I mean, just all in immediately. He never jumped into the pot. He was playing super reserved. Great, go ahead. If you're making money like that, go ahead, play like that. But I knew he had some sort of strong hand. Everybody else folded as soon as he would go all in. Fold. Well, I kind of got tired of this dude just going all in, shoving all in off the cards dealt. So I had 7-2 offsuit and called his ass on an all in. He ended up having king, queen, ace, king, maybe even, and didn't hit anything on the flop, the turn, or the river. I drilled a 7 on the flop, and he absolutely lost it. He got up and he slammed his cards down, because I immediately turned my hand over. I was like, bro, what do you have? Like, you're going all in. I'm going to call your ass. Like, what you got, bro? And sure enough, anyways, that was completely sidetracked. I'm totally sorry. The struggle. Where are we at in this? So in a 2017 study in motivation and emotion found that people who fear failure are more likely to avoid taking opportunities even when the risk is small. And I say go for it. Whatever you're doing in life, go for it. Go all in. Either go all in or don't go. I know that's contradicting what I'm saying about the poker reference, but just go all in with whatever you're doing. Don't half-ass stuff, you know? You might be getting by in the small stuff, but when somebody else at the table actually has pocket aces and you come with the 7-2, you're going to find out what's going on, you know? The more you mess around, the more you find out. A survey also shows the number one regret older adults report is not taking more risks, not the risks they did take. That is something I like to think of, you know, constantly and somewhat live by. When I'm older, I don't want to say, what if I did this, or what if this happened instead of that, you know? Like, I would why not instead of what if? Like, why not? Why not? why should I not try this? Why, instead of what if or what could happen, you know? Like I said, could never got anybody anywhere. I'm sure there's a quote somewhere out there that I could find, but in the meantime, let's go with why not what if. Keeping it moving here. I kind of have this segment labeled as the real talk. Growth happens when you push yourself into discomfort. Psychologist Carol Dweck shows that challenges and mistakes activate brain growth. Comfort doesn't. Something I guess you could, I don't want to say live by, but something that you could definitely take into consideration is you never know until you know. Now, I'm not saying you go and you make bad decisions because you don't know if they could turn out good. Obviously, use your 2 cents. Obviously, consider the potential consequences of whatever decision you are deciding to make, and then go for it. If the negative consequences outweigh the positive consequences, it's probably not a smart decision. Now, I don't know. That's iffy. I'm sorry. I'm a risk taker. I don't like staying comfortable. I'm comfortable with very few things in my life. My family, my woman. I mean, other than that, I'm always going to take risks. I'm always going for gold. I'm always going to try something to the next, you know, and the Michael Jordan quote, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You can argue Michael Jordan said that or Michael Scott said that. Michael Scott said that in reference to, I think, Wayne Gretzky. I don't know. I can't find the episode. I might put the video up. I might not. I don't know. You never know until you know, though. So with that being said, it's your life and it's your rules. Meaning, unless you're a slave or incarcerated and being told when to go to the bathroom, when to do this, when to do that, this is your life. 100%. That's something that I live by. I choose to make decisions that will impact me and my circle. And I do consider the potential outcomes, of course. But at the end of the day, like, I don't want to conform to a 9 to 5. I don't want to be told when to go to work. I don't want to be told this and that. And then you might feel the same way, you know, and you got to do what you got to do. Like, yes, I get that. I get having consistency, but there's nothing wrong with risk taking just as much as there's nothing wrong with working habitually in a habit, you know? So risk is uncomfortable, but necessary. I believe it's necessary. If you're comfortable, congrats. You're probably dying a little on the inside. Now, am I saying just because you have a solid career that makes you a loser? No. I know a lot of people who have very good jobs. They make very good money, but they are working 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and living for the weekend. Like, that's not a way that I choose to live. That is not a way I want to live. Do you have to do certain things to get to certain places? Yes, of course. But being told in school you have to go and get this college degree and go work for a company and work your way up the ladder, like, that's a whole nother conversation topic, and I'm going to do a podcast on why I think college is a scam. Now, with that being said, I don't think college is a scam for medical professionals, lawyers. I can't think of any other off the top of my head, but I do think schooling is necessary in some circumstances. Now, going back to the original point, I said I know a lot of people who have $60,000 plus in debt and not the job that they thought they were going to get when they had gotten out of school. And it's like, my cat's going crazy because she wants me to play with her. I just had carpal tunnel release. This was the surgery I was talking about in the other episode. She loves to bite, and there we go. So I have another point here that I wanted to bring up. NASA runs a 3% discomfort rule in training. Astronauts are intentionally pushed into small challenges daily to build adaptability. that is awesome. I think that is phenomenal. I think a lot of people should challenge themselves to do things, Water the plants you have, and if seeds fall into your lap, don't be afraid of planting them. Meaning, just because you may not know how to, or you're scared of it potentially the plant potentially dying, metaphorically speaking, the plant potentially dying, don't be afraid to take those risks. Now, don't neglect the grass you do have. Water the plants you have now and watch them flourish. The grass is not always greener on the other side. I promise you, it is not always greener on the other side, no matter how much it may appeal to be. Wanting can definitely be bad as well. So don't also be caught in this habit of wanting. Find complacency in things you do have in your life. Now, I'm not saying everything is exactly how it needs to be for you. I may not know your full background, and definitely wanting can be a bad thing, though. Be happy with what you have, because a lot of people would, I'm sure, love to have what you have. Be appreciative of your flaws. A lot of people who may not have your flaws would die to have your flaws, would kill to have your flaws. So, small risks, incremental challenges, and consistent action outside discomfort. I think this wouldn't, really be a small risks, but consistent action outside comfort, such as learning. Now, I just hated on school. I'm not talking about learning like go take a program, but engage your brain into positive videos, and engage in beneficial activities, not only to your mental health but your physical health as well. Don't just sit and scroll on TikTok for hours, or Instagram or Facebook or YouTube. Now, if you're watching my video, I definitely appreciate it, but I'm just speaking my mind. I'm speaking my opinion about a lot of things, and I hope maybe you're listening on the way to work, or I know some people listen to podcasts while they work out. Whatever you may be doing, just maybe have it on in the background. I'm not saying you need to just sit and watch the entire time. If you do, thank you. But yeah, just engage in beneficial activities to stimulate growth, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Challenge yourself with a new task. That could be a whole plethora of things. There are multiple ways to grow and to learn, and challenge yourself. If you're watching this by yourself, challenge your significant other to watch it and ask them what have they done to grow in a certain aspect of their life. I'm not saying they need to. I'm not saying they don't need to. And I'm not saying they need to go and seek and try and make all this money and buy a Lamborghini, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying there's always room for improvement, and complacency can be a bad thing. It can also be a good thing, but complacency can hurt you in a lot of different ways. The brain is constantly seeking stimulation from something. I don't know if that's a fact or not, but I'm sure the brain, just like, cats, they always seek. I don't want to compare humans to cats. I'm sorry. I don't know where I was going to go with that. I'm sorry. We're going to move on. Don't be afraid to try new things. So whether that's food, whether that's listening to new music, whether that's trying to learn an instrument, stimulate your brain. Just try stuff. Don't get stuck. Exposure therapy research proves small, repeated steps into discomfort reduce fear long term. Same principle works for career, creativity, or personal growth. I'm not saying you need to go accomplish this massive task or this massive feat to grow and to learn, when small, repeated changes can, the snowball effect. Another fact that I have pulled up, Harvard Business Review found employees who take on stretch projects outside their skill set are promoted faster than those who stick to routine tasks. So, let me try that one more time. Harvard Business Review found employees who take on stretch projects outside their skill set are promoted faster than those who stick to routine tasks. That's awesome. You can fact check me. I have them pulled up right here. But again, this goes to trying new things, expanding your horizon, not being necessarily complacent. I'm not saying complacency is a bad thing, because there are a lot of benefits to having a routine and to having set actions, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But my opinion, I think comfort zones just inhibit your ability to grow. That's just my 2 cents. I'm speaking my mind. This is my opinion. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion, and if you agree with this, I don't know, drop a comment and say you agree with that, because there are a lot of instances where stepping outside of my comfort zone got me something I didn't even realize was there. I didn't, maybe God had closed a door for me to turn around and find a brand new door that I didn't even know I had the key to. Networking is your net worth. That's not necessarily a point I have put, but it just kind of popped into my head. Networking is your net worth. You never know who you're going to meet when you go and you try to expand a business or market yourself or market whatever it is that you may be doing. I cannot stress enough, networking is your net worth. It is not what you know, but it is who you know. I am blessed enough to be street smart and book smart. And I refer to my phone as the $1 million contact list, because it is wild. I was told all throughout my life that I needed to go to school to become successful when I did not go to school. When I did not go to school, I went to trade school, but I did not go to college. And I'm very successful. Personally, to me, I'm successful. To some people, I may not be successful, but to me and my mindset, I am successful. I am becoming more and more successful as time goes on, as I pick up things and as I learn. And that's what I encourage you to do. That's what I encourage my family to do. That's what I encourage everybody to do, is to just grow and learn and constantly be a sponge. I have it in my bios. Listen more than you speak, because the person who might be the smartest isn't always the loudest. It's kind of my 2 cents, and I'm over here talking on a podcast. Funny how that works. I don't know. I might be smart. I might not be smart. So here we go. Here's another one. I kind of had some questions for y'all as I kind of wrap this up. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter episode. I wanted to ask, what's one thing you've avoided because it scared you? And I'm going to give my response to this. Mine was sharing my music and my creative mind. I didn't want to get shot down. I was used to winning. Explanation for that is growing up being an athlete. Besides for the high school I played for, we were trash, we were garbage. There were some really good athletes, but at the end of the day, our coach didn't know what he was talking about. You can send it to him. I don't care. Trash. When I was playing select, we won. I was a Little League basketball champion, baseball mini World Series champion, football Super Bowl. I actually do not remember if we won the Super Bowl or not. Mini Super Bowl. I think we might have won, and we definitely lost, but we were there every other year. I was just used to winning. I didn't like to lose. A lot of people are raising their kids nowadays to get participation trophies. I do not agree with that at all. I want my kid to understand the difference between winning and losing at a very young age and instill the winning mindset into him. I could be mistaken. I could be wrong, and time will tell whenever I have my first child. That was something else that I kind of talked about, was being in sports taught me it's okay to lose. It's okay to fail. It's about if you're going to get back up and try to do it again and try and succeed, Golf is my favorite obsession, 100%. But besides music, golf is my main obsession. And there are a ton of references to life in golf. One that I kind of like to reflect on and explain to people of why I love golf is like life. You have 18 holes. There are 18 challenges on each and every hole. No, not one hole is the same as the other. Let's say you have a bunker in the landing zone on hole 1. 300 yards down the fairway, there's a bunker. So are you going to take a driver and try to hit over it? Or are you going to take a 3-wood, a hybrid, or a 4-iron and land a little bit before it and go over it? There's obstacles. It's about how you're going to overcome those obstacles. Personally, on a hole with a bunker 300 yards down the fairway in the landing zone, I'm definitely going to try and go over it. Can I hit that far? No, I cannot. Maybe 30 miles an hour downwind, but no, I'm not hitting it over that bunker. Will I try? Yes. Will I fail? You never know. You never know until it happens. But I like to think of there are a lot of life lessons in golf, and that's kind of my answer to one thing that I've avoided because it scared me. Not golf, but the music, my creative mind, not wanting to get shot down, used to winning. Since a kid, I have ADHD. I am a Pisces. I have a creative mind. My wheels are always turning. I'm either making music, I'm playing games, whether that was the French horn, the violin, to the guitar. I have constantly just been tinkering and playing with different instruments, and my voice as well. And I was scared to tell people that I made music. I kept it hidden and low key for a long time. I was scared because I didn't like the sound of my voice, or I didn't think it sounded like something that people could potentially listen to. And I was scared to share it. Now, since the accident, I definitely broke out of my bubble. I realized how precious life is and how for granted I took a lot of things. So I'm not scared to fail anymore. I am going at life 100% full speed, throttle pinned. Like, I'm doing everything I can to try and succeed and move up in my mind. One other question is, when was the last time discomfort led to growth for you? Physically, rehab. Mentally, exploring my weaknesses was a start to growing. Nobody likes to admit when they're wrong. Nobody likes to admit or potentially talk about their flaws. And since I have been seeing my psychiatrist and my therapist, I've been very open and front. Past therapy and psychiatrist, I was super reserved. I was not comfortable with talking to them. I don't think anybody really is 100%, but I was always timid on spilling the beans or talking about my personal problems with somebody who I just was being forced to see, So discomfort led to growth because I'm being honest with myself. I'm looking in the mirror. At the end of the day, nobody has to look at you. Nobody is forced to look at you. You are the only person who has to look in the mirror at the end of the day. Then that is the only person you are responsible for. Now, I'm not saying that about like if you have kids or children or a significant other, but at the end of the day, the mirror isn't going to change. It can be distorted, but at the end of the day, that reflection will always be the same unless you do something to invoke change and to try and grow and succeed. So that's my thought on that. I'm going to kind of wrap this up and close this. Your comfort zone keeps you alive, but doesn't make you feel alive. At the end of the day, it just depends on what you want and what you need. Now, make sure and fulfill your needs before your wants, but don't forget about your wants either. Don't ever think a single want is out of your reach. I want you to go for gold. Don't reach for the moon, reach for the stars, because there are planets beyond our solar system. There is other things to achieve in life besides what somebody might be telling you or what somebody is telling you that you can't do. So I want you to go and try and be as successful as you can and grow and uplift and bring others with you. Don't be complacent and follow your dreams. Always follow your dreams. Yeah. If you made it to the end of this video, comment your story. I want to hear what you think about comfort zones and complacency. I love y'all. Stay beautiful. Stay blessed. I'll see you on the next episode. Thank you.